Hello, my name is Allison and I'm coming from the Sunshine State, Florida. First question, a time I had to learn something new. So I decided for my daughter's birthday that I wanted to do a topsy-turvy three-tier cake. The theme was Allison in Wonderland, and I really wanted to make this cake for her. So I needed to go and find out how to make a moist cake all the way to creating decorations and working with fondant. The first thing I did was I made a realistic deadline. I knew that a week, 2 weeks would not be enough to actually figure out how to make this cake and all the intricate details that goes into a wonderful cake. So I believe I gave myself about a month or 5 weeks to get it done, which was pretty realistic for me. Secondly, I immersed myself in YouTube. Ton of YouTube videos and anything that I could get my hand on. Um, I felt like for weeks, all I could think about and do was cake. I probably gained 15 pounds in the process. I practiced and I practiced and I practiced making the cake and then cutting the cake. Now, in hindsight, though I enjoy the whole process, I might have just bought the cake instead the next time. And also during the actual making of the cake, the practicing time, I think I would have put more into the decorating and the fondant and all the things that come after the actual cake. I had focused on the cake, which everyone loved, all the different tiers, which was different flavors of the cakes. But when I went to do the fondant, I realized that it was much harder than I thought, and the smoothing process took a little more extra time. I just kind of looked at it and was like, oh, it looks like I could figure that out. You just kind of throw it on and you just smooth it and it should be fine. But I realized the day before when I was actually making the cake, I needed a little bit of work on that, and it did cause some frustration, but I worked it out, kept YouTube right next to me, and I kept on working until I figured it out. But all in all, it was a great project. Everyone loved the cake, and my daughter especially, so it was definitely a win. Why are you interested in programming? So a bit ago, I saw, I think it was a Netflix original show. I believe it was called Explained, and at some point they came on. They did coding and they explained more so into coding. And there was one line that they said that really intrigued me. It was that all the things that you see in your apps and on your website was typed in by a person. Someone actually put this in. I know that sometimes when we look at things and we don't understand things, it's like, oh, it's magic. It's just there. It's just there. And then we keep going. But that statement made me think someone actually put this in here. When I type my names into these forms, someone had to program that square, had to program my responses. It goes somewhere. And it just interests me. Well, how do they do it? What do they type? Where does it go? Even the security of it was kind of interesting. Once it travels, how does it travel? How can you encrypt things? Even that was of interest to me. So I went down that rabbit hole and started looking up more things and trying to figure out, well, how do I learn how to do this? I want to learn how to do this. I know that IT jobs and technology has only increased. So we know that it's probably not going to go back. We're not going back to the Stone Age where it's growing, and I would like to grow with it. I'm going to explain a function in the computing of an area of a triangle. As we learned when we were younger, the area of a triangle is half the base times the height. So the first thing is you need to type in a function, the word function, which I feel like it's the job. It's telling the computer that this is a job that I need you to do. I need you to make this function. And then I'm going to name it so that when I go back and I look at it later, I'm not confused as to what all this was. And I name it very detailed. And I say, is to compute area of a triangle. That's the name, okay? So function, compute an area of a triangle. Now, this is, in parentheses, the material. What is needed so that I can do my computing? You need the base and the height. Now, going back to my first example of making the cake, I needed to find out what material did I need? What was the eggs, the milk, everything like that. This is the material of making my cake, make a cake. Now, what do I want returned once I give you all this material? How do I do this, okay, with my material? So you return it and you say, I want half times the base times the height. I want you to take your eggs, your milk, your flour, everything, and mix it together and then put it in the oven. That is my how-to. Now here, I'm going to say the variable output, the name of our function that we are doing, and what is the specific material that I'm giving you. So this one is, I'm trying to make a strawberry or chocolate cake. So I would give you the strawberry, or I would give you the chocolate. And this is a specific thing now that I want you to use to make this cake. Now, console log is basically telling the computer, I want you to give me the output of this. I want you to tell me what this is. What happens after you do all this? Tell me. And then it spits it out and it says, it's 12. This is your finished product. You get a cake.